Zach, this might be the most busy episode we've had in quite a while.
in our
There's
life.
there's there's a lot of stuff going down in this episode. We do have another special guest, and I made a video how we're gonna have a special guest probably every week for the next 4 or 5 weeks here, going up to Christmas, and then we'll probably have another week off for Christmas like we did for Thanksgiving. But
I
we are
wonder
back.
why.
We are back. Yeah, somebody might be tying the knot. Tying the knot. What other
I
what
have been
other
working on my knot skills lately to repair.
are there any other phrases for that? Tying the knot. I was trying to think of something else.
Getting married,
There you go. Yep. That one's pretty solid.
getting hitched.
Okay, I've heard that one.
Um, I don't know.
Zach's getting married. Um, but our interview today is four-time All-American. You just have to wait to listen to the interview because there's so many accolades that she has.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. Caroline Ortiz, um, she's part of the Puerto Rican national team wrestler. She's going to join us for an interview. We also are going to talk some World Cup. You and I don't talk a lot of soccer on here, but there's this thing called the
Football.
World Cup going down, and I think we have to mention it a little bit. We are finally going to do our St. Louis Cardinals player grades. So I want to see how many you and I agree on from this season. I feel like it could go one way or
I
the
will
other for us.
disclaimer, I'm doing it on the spot.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Maybe that's even better. You just
Yeah.
your first memory of what the season was like, which is
hmm
probably an F for everybody how it ended.
I
Um,
wouldn't say enough. It was a good season.
it was a very good season, very memorable. We have a little bit of NHL talk. I'm gonna bring in like I usually do the three hot players and three not. There's a better way of saying that. I butchered that. Three
Um,
really hot players, three really not hot players. I still butchered that the second time I said it. And also a tremendous Blues comeback win against the Panthers the other night, which was insane. NBA, I brought a little. I mentioned it before how we're going to do this Would You Rather
mhm.
segment, but everybody says Would You Rather. So I'm going to call it King of the Court. And this one's going to be the Trae Young edition. So we're going to bounce off some names and see who's better than Trae Young and who's not. And then college football week 13 was full of upsets. And NFL week 12, you and I talked a little bit off air, but that Jaguars Ravens game was quite possibly game of
Mhm.
the year, how that ended.
Yeah, it was really good.
But you were back for Thanksgiving.
I was.
Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving. How'd you enjoy it?
It was a lot of fun. Busy the whole week. Got in at Wednesday night. Then had Thanksgiving. Ate a lot of food. It tasted so good. I don't know why we don't eat sides that are on Thanksgiving more often because they're so good. But
True. Yep.
uh, then on Friday, me and Kelly did some shopping, got some Christmas presents. We were not the smartest. Well, we really just did it because it was our only free day, but it happened to land on Black Friday. So West County Mall
Oh man.
was
Jeez.
extremely crowded.
I'm sure.
Um, but we got there early. And then we ate lunch at a place and watched part of the soccer game. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that game too. When we get to the
Yeah.
FIFA World Cup.
Mm-hmm. No,
And
I want to
Saturday,
say, I want to
what
say
else?
real quick, it was finally good to see you in person. I hadn't seen you
Yeah,
in
Saturday I saw AJ
months.
at
Yep.
a his and her shower.
Mhm.
He brought me a gift. It was very special.
I did. Brought you
He's doing. I cried. No.
a Mr. and Mrs. mug, some pajamas, and hot cocoa. And Hannah and I were talking like hot cocoa in Florida doesn't really fit real well with
I
the
know.
weather down there, but
Kaylee's like, we'll drink it over the holidays here in Missouri.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a bunch of blankets, which I love blankets, but they will get more use whenever we move back to Missouri in a couple
hmm
years.
For sure.
Instead of
Yep.
in Florida where the high today was 78. So
Oh, unreal.
yeah,
That's ridiculous.
not a fan. But yeah, his and her shower, which is good. Good to see a lot of people. Got a
hmm
lot of gifts, which is
Yeah, for
nice.
those of you listening that's not related to me or Zach or know anything about us, Zach's
Which probably
family
50% of the people who listen are related to me
Zach's
or
family
know
goes
AJ.
yeah, Zach's family goes all out with it. They don't mess around. They pack that place the other night. Um but
How was your
again,
Thanksgiving?
it was all right. It was just
All
normal.
right.
Yeah, it was normal. I with my family, we don't do the big stuff like you do, like the big
Mhm.
group ones anymore. And so it's pretty chill every year. Like I
Yeah.
like the Thanksgiving food a lot. but we'd always, Hannah and I split it half and half at mine,
Mhm.
half at hers, which is complete opposite. And she would tell you the same thing. Like mine's super chill and laid back, and hers is really loud and like everybody's talking and stuff. But
That's how like it is kind of with Kaylee and mine. Like Kaylee, it's not as big. Everyone can sit
mhm.
at one table. Then my family, there's tables in every single room.
Yeah,
It's just
yep,
scattered.
yeah, that's funny. Um, but again, we have so much to cover in this
Yeah,
episode.
this was a crazy week for sports.
Insane, and of course, it's our 1 week off
Yeah,
from.
I know. I was
So
thinking that. I'm like,
yeah, we got a lot to catch up on. But I feel like it's good because we usually do what just happened in the week. This episode's
mhm.
kind of like the king of the court is broad. It's not just covering the games,
Yeah.
kind of like the player grades too. But did you see it wise? I did have one. There was probably a ton I could have chosen. The one that caught my eye was the Lakers Suns game. I guess that was last
When Westbrook got
Wednesday.
smoked in the
Wednesday.
head.
That no, that was crazy though. That was against the Spurs. I'm talking. I mean, I know you've seen this clip. Um, but Austin Reeves got hit. I think it was accidental
Oh, into
on the.
that group of girls, and then he went crazy.
Oh no, that's
Oh no.
another clip too.
There was
You're
this
calling out
video. It
all the other
was
ones.
he like fell in this group of girls who were like very rich and were
Yes.
all like dressed like they were going out basically.
Mhm.
And then the person treated is like after Reeves fell into this group of girls, he turned into the white mamba, and then it's
Dude,
showing him
he
doing all these
started.
crazy moves and just draining everything.
Yeah, dude, he was hooping that night. I mean, he hit 1 3. I'm getting sidetracked, but then the you could literally see the confidence in him because he started doing that hesitation crossover like AI, and so it was wild. Um, but no, that he Austin Reeves was accidentally hit in the face by Devin Booker, and then Devin Booker kind of did this fake tough. There are a bunch of fake tough guy over there. Over there, Chris Paul's a fake tough guy. Booker, Aiton, they're all fake tough guy. Cameron Payne, can't stand him.
Not Michael
But
Bridges. I
I
love
like
him.
Mikhail. I like Mikhail. But Devin Booker stood over Austin Reeves a little bit. I didn't think much of it. And then Aiton came out of nowhere and stood over Austin Reeves. And the thing is, Anthony Davis is standing right next to Aiton and is like watching him stand over Reeves, his
Mhm.
teammate. And out of nowhere, of course it's him,
Oh yeah.
Patrick Beverly drills Aiton. I mean, drills him, and then a suspended 3 games. So my question for you is, well-deserved suspension, but you're okay with it? If you're
Like
if you're a Lakers player,
yeah, he deserves a suspension. I do kind of like it. Like AD could have easily the bigger guy against a center could have easily just like stepped and kind of just slowly walked him away. But
yeah,
Patrick Beverly has
he's crazy.
not afraid like AD little
Yeah,
wimpy sometimes.
mhm,
But
facts.
Patrick maybe that fired him up and got him to beat some of the worst teams in the West this week.
I mean, I was gonna say they've won 5 of 6, but it is some pretty poor teams have been
Like
playing.
three of them against the Spurs.
They played this first 3 times. Yeah, yeah, but no, Pat Bev. I think I do think that sets a tone in the locker room, though. That kind of that like I have your back type of mentality that we see happens in other sports. I do think he deserves a 3 game suspension, if not more, because he keeps shoving people in the back. He shoved
Mhm.
Chris Paul in the back 2 years ago, I believe. Um, but Pat Bev has always been one of those guys that if he's on your team, you love the heck out of him. If he's on the other team, you literally
I don't know
like
if I would like him
if you look
on my team.
statistically, if you look statistically, he's one of the worst players in basketball this year. He's shooting 26% from the field,
What about
4 point
defense though?
defense. The numbers did look good for him. I always thought he was kind of one of those guys like Russ. Actually, Russell
Mhm.
Westbrook said this: runs around and just does nothing and acts like he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Russ actually said that. But when I watch him on a nightly basis, I do see he causes a lot of at least stress on the other
Mhm.
guys because they even have him guarding like a 6'9" Paul George, and he gets so low to him that Paul George has to keep the ball high the whole time because he's just a pest around him all
Paul
the time.
George just needs to go.
I know, just shoot right
Shoot right
over.
over
Yeah,
him.
yeah. But you're the king of Did You See It? What you got for us?
Oh, my did you see it was that there was a skunk at the Browns Bucks game.
Oh yeah,
That was
forgot
pretty
about that.
cool. That is really the only did you see it I brought.
Yeah,
I kind of was
you and I could probably go back and find so many that throughout
oh
the
yeah.
week that we missed.
I usually look and see what I sent you guys, but I wasn't on my phone that much.
Mhm.
I feel like there was some. What was it? I think Conlon sent it. I think it was a dig at someone you liked, probably LeBron.
So,
Oh yeah, LeBron wore a shirt that said "Vote or Die." That's a little extreme.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's like a 12-year-old kid who replies, "LeBron, I'm 12 years old and I'm
I don't want to
not old
die.
enough to vote. Don't kill me."
Yeah, yeah. I did see. I hate all the LeBron hate, but I will admit that was pretty funny. I guess we can get right into the World Cup. I'm thinking right now as we were talking there, I didn't even write down any college basketball stuff, and there was crazy upsets.
Oh, there's a lot of. Well, let's just talk about college basketball a little quick right now. Little.
Yeah, just get it out. Yeah, get through it.
Purdue's not destroying everyone.
Good Lord, man.
I really didn't watch a game, but I was looking at the app because this week during Thanksgiving is where they always have those preseason tournaments. So like the Maui Battle for Atlantis.
Yep.
Some other one on an island in like a hotel.
Yeah.
But North Carolina, I believe, lost 2 games.
Yeah,
they played
second
quadruple overtime against Alabama.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yep.
Gonzaga lost again. They lost to Purdue.
They've not looked good at all. At all. They barely beat Xavier last night.
This is why college basketball is so fun. You have no idea who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the March Madness is so fun because, as we're seeing now, oh my God, I can't talk. Just as we've seen in previous years, there's so many teams who could win it all and can beat each other. And there's a lot of parity, I guess, is the cool word to say.
Like, did you look at the rankings today, the new rankings at all? Because
I know Texas is 2, I think.
Do you know
Texas plays? Who do they play? They play someone good Thursday. I was just looking at this before I hopped on here.
Do you know who number 1 in the country is?
It may be Purdue.
It's Houston.
Nobody's
talking about Houston, but they're now the number 1 team in the country. And North Carolina fell down to like 18.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's Houston. I'll just do the top 10.
Yeah,
Houston, Texas, Virginia. A little surprising.
Another sleeper. Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona, because Virginia wasn't that great last year.
Yeah, they had a drop off year.
Purdue, Baylor, Creighton's really good this year.
That's another one that people aren't talking about.
I always love watching some of that Big East basketball.
Oh yeah.
UConn, they're ranked pretty high. I didn't realize they were doing.
That's another one.
That team in Kansas.
Yeah.
Number 10, Indiana. Indiana's kind of back. Yeah, and then a lot of like, I don't know why, but it just seems like a lot of schools that you just like look at them and you're like, oh yeah, they have a good basketball team that are ranked in the top 25. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. The Blue Bloods, the OG schools, they're all in there.
It's not like you're seeing. I'm trying to think of one.
Just like random.
Mizzou. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, like a Dayton or something like that.
Yeah, like a Texas A&M's kind of a little weird. Every once in a while they're good.
I have to mention
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I have to mention SLU wise. I texted you in the middle of their game against Auburn. SLU has been so good all year. They beat Providence. They beat Memphis. They lost bad to Maryland. That's been their only loss. And they went to Auburn and played their heart out. I mean, it was a close game all the way until the end. But I don't know if you saw this or if I told you this. They lost by 5, 65-60. Was there the entire game. They were 1 for 11 from the free throw line in the second half.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. That just absolutely killed them because they were right there. Francis Okoro, their big guy, did not play well. Arguably their best player, Javonte Perkins. I think Yuri Collins probably everybody would say is their best player, but Javonte Perkins had like 4 points. But Javon Pickett stepped up. Yuri Collins was solid. But 65-60, that would have been one of those games. Not only would you get pretty close to being ranked right now as like 6-1.
That would be a huge game for the tournament whenever they're looking at teams if you're one of those last 4 in, where it's big wins, 13 Auburn at Auburn.
That would have been huge. That's what I was thinking the entire game. I was like, just pull this one out. And we had a couple chances at the end. Jimerson missed a couple threes that could tie it with like a minute left. And but the fact that we competed, I like to try to take the good things, the good parts of what happened. And for me, that the fact that they competed so hard shows that they're going to probably have a very successful Atlantic 10 season, which is actually a low key decent.
The Atlantic 10.
That doesn't get enough talk
good.
about.
Davidson, VCU. Is VCU still in it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Richmond's competitive. St. Bonaventure's always solid. Rhode Island's been good in the past. Yeah. So it's going to be tough. But
a lot of the non-Power 5 conferences are honestly really, really fun to watch in college basketball.
Yeah,
like go to a game. Sure. Like Missouri Valley is really fun.
Yeah.
Really any of them. There's a lot of good basketball players.
Yeah. That was the last tough matchup for SLU though, until like the A10, like we were just talking. But non-conference wise, they beat Providence, who's always solid, and they beat Memphis. So those are 2 big wins. But did you pull up the World Cup standings?
Yeah, I have that. Quick on college basketball. Texas plays Creighton on Thursday.
Ooh, that is
2 versus 7. I will actually watch that game.
Yeah,
while we record, probably. Yeah. FIFA World Cup. The last games they're coming up. I think USA plays tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow at like 1:00. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. The perfect time for me. So Group A, I'll just go through all 8 groups. So Group A, the Netherlands are in the top. They have 1 win and a draw. They have 4 points. I'll just go by points. Ecuador has 4 points. They're in second, and Senegal is in third with 3 points. So any of those teams can make it. Qatar is eliminated. They have 0 points. They're mathematically eliminated, I believe. And then Group B, England's has 4 points. Iran has 3 points. USA has 2 points, and Wales has 1 point. Iran beating Wales was huge for the US. It's basically if whoever wins this USA-Iran game is if we win against Iran, we will be in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about this because if Wales beats England, they would have 4 points as well. Wait, no, if we beat I'm an idiot. If we beat Iran, we will have 5 points. Yeah, and we'll be in. So whoever wins that game will get in. We don't want to draw. But actually, if we do get a draw, we would be in, I think, because our goal differential would be 0, and they're at -2. So a win or a draw gets us in.
Okay.
No, wait. It doesn't, because then they would get 1.2. So we need to win.
All right.
Sorry. Okay, go USA. Group C, Poland has 4 points. Argentina has 3 points. They had a big win against Mexico. Saudi Arabia has 3 points. And I know Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, but it's by goal differential, not head-to-head. And Argentina has +1 goal differential. So they're in second. I really want Argentina to move on. I love Messi.
We have to mention that Saudi Arabia beating Argentina is one of the biggest World Cup upsets they were saying of all time.
And they're the prince of Saudi Arabia bought all of their players a Rolls Royce. So
wow,
dumb rich. I think I saw a tweet that said there's only 2 teams that are officially eliminated out of all the teams. So there's crazy stuff could happen. Group D, France is in first place with 6 points. They are going to make it for sure. Not a surprise. The defending World Cup champions. Australia in second with 3. Denmark in third with 1. Tunisia in fourth with 1. Group E, there's some surprises in this group to me. Spain's number 1. That's not a surprise. Japan number 2, 3 points. Costa Rica third with 3 points, and then Germany only has 1 point, which is surprising. But I don't know who plays who, but either Japan or Costa Rica is playing Spain, because I think Germany tied with Spain.
And Japan beat Germany, didn't they?
Yeah, so if Germany wins this next game and Yeah, if they win the next game, they'll be in,
That's
or
awesome.
possibly. It depends whoever Spain plays and if they beat them or loses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
or ties because you get a point for that. Group F, Croatia is in the lead with 4 points. Morocco is in second with 4 points. Belgium in third with 3 points, and then the team up north, to AJ's favorite team, go pack your bags and go back
Such
home
a
and watch hockey.
such a sad ending. Such a sad ending. So the match against Croatia, they came out flying. Alfonso Davies had a goal in the first 2 minutes, and then they lost
He
four
is
to
very
one.
fast. He's
Dude,
very.
he is.
I'm about to re-download FIFA like 18 and start playing FIFA
Yeah.
because this World Cup's just getting kind
Uh-huh.
of. I start seeing all these names and then I just go and start a franchise or whatever, and then I end up spending way too much time in negotiations on transferring for players, and I spend
Yeah.
way too much money, but it's very fun.
I will say I've never been a big soccer guy, football guy, whatever you want to call it. But I will say, watching this World Cup, I do understand the appreciation for the sport a little bit more now,
It's actually when I started playing, it's kind of fun to watch.
for sure.
And then everyone starts singing songs, so it's kind of fun. Brazil, who's like the favorite in Group G, they have 6 points. With Charleston's bicycle kick, that was beautiful. Did you see that?
Neymar, no, I did not, but I
He
heard
got
about
kicked
it
into it like right in the box. He like flipped it up to himself and did a bicycle just upper net.
because Neymar is dealing with that really swollen ankle, and they're still looking good without him.
Yeah,
So,
Brazil is loaded.
really, yeah.
They just breed superstars. Switzerland in second, Cameroon in third with 1 point, Switzerland has three, and Serbia in last with 1 point. Group H, Portugal in first with 6 points, Ghana in second with three, South Korea third and with one, and Uruguay in last with one, which Uruguay was supposed to be pretty like a sleeper, pretty solid team, and
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have to win this last game to have any shot at getting in. So I don't know who they play. I know they lost to Portugal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all the groups. So the top two
I've been
teams in each group will move on to the knockout rounds.
I've really enjoyed it though, man. I'm looking forward to the
I
rest of
wish
it.
I could enjoy it, except all the games are
4 a.m.,
perfect and right when
7
I'm at
a.m.,
during
10
the day.
a.m., 1 p.m. Yeah, that's
Move it
tough
to
to
the
watch.
summer. Get it to the
Yeah.
USA next time.
Is it here next time?
Mm,
Is it?
North
Where's it at?
America, Canada, US, and Mexico.
Right on. That's dope. So, man, um, we've been talking about this Cardinals player grades for quite a while. We're finally going to get to it here. So, I actually went around and I actually put one for every single player this year, besides like the guys that just showed like 2 or 3 appearances. Um, but for those, obviously, we don't have to talk about much. We can just give our grade and move on.
Yeah.
We got to start at the top, though. Ollie Marmol. What are you giving him?
I don't know. I'll give him a B plus
Okay. I gave him
because what'd you give him?
I gave him an A.
I gave him B plus. He did great during the season, but not taking out Helsley when he obviously was not pitching good in the postseason. That was a lasting sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But he did good first year managing and winning the division after we were down, and then getting the boys going and coming back and winning it. So I think he's going to be a good manager. I'm excited.
I like your grade. The only reason I gave him an A is because he did a tremendous job figuring out how to implement Pujols and have that whole
Mm-hmm.
situation be amazing with the DH and winning the division with wanting to. I mean, think about it. Albert. We're going to get to Albert's grade too, but Albert did not play well in the first half at all. And so going into the second half, he had to think, well, we want to honor him and Yachty, who obviously didn't play well, but we at the same time we want to try to win. And so I think he
Mm-hmm.
did just. Luckily, Albert got really hot. And we didn't have to worry too much about it. But I thought he mixed and matched so well. Throughout the year, I don't remember thinking, "Oh, why'd he make that move to the bullpen?"
Yeah.
Too much. He saved Helsley all year.
Mm-hmm.
Helsley never really hit a rough patch. He just until that
Except
last
for the
game.
last game.
I know. But Gallegos was pretty consistent all year. He didn't have many rough patches. Hennessis did, but it wasn't because of overuse. Like we've seen that in the past with our guys just being overused.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean we're pretty similar on that grade. Moving on to catchers, I gave Yachty a C, and my reason for a C is because it's his last time out. He was still solid defensively enough.
Yeah, I was gonna do C too.
Mm-hmm.
Like his stats aren't good at all, but just his effect on the pitching
Mm-hmm.
staff and the clubhouse, I think, kind of
Yep.
give him the benefit of the doubt.
We
I
are
would
very
say.
much going to miss him behind the plate. It's
Yes, it's
going
gonna
to
be
be weird.
weird.
Yeah.
I like simmed the season with an MLB The Show, and it was like weird going into the offseason. Like I'm gonna sign a catcher.
That's weird. It's very weird. Backup catcher wise, Andrew Kisner. I gave Kisner a D, and it's just because there was no threat at the plate. Defensively, I thought he was just as good as Yacht. I mean, just solid defensively. Didn't make bad plays happen. I feel like he had a pretty good control over the staff as well. But the presence at the plate, he was one of those players that is pretty much a hole in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you with that. A D or like a C minus or something.
Yeah.
But it's weird because he'd have little stretches where he'd show some flashes of hitting, but
I know.
just couldn't sustain it.
He was always a good hitter in the minors. That's what he
Mhm.
was. That's why it's shocking he hasn't clicked yet
Jeff
up here.
Albert's fault.
Yeah, put all the blame on him.
Yeah.
First base. This is going to get interesting here. This is where it's going to get interesting, I should say. Paul Goldschmidt. I'm going to give Paulie a A. And
A plus. He won the MVP.
I know it's hard not to give him an A plus. It's hard not to give him an A plus, man. I just have to give him an A just because how it ended. It's just it was such a brutal way of ending it. But throughout the whole year, actually the whole last month, he really struggled. It wasn't just that. I always forget about that because it just you keep remembering what happened at the end there. But yeah, I give him an A. You give him an A plus.
Yeah, he won the MVP. It's their first MVP since Pujols.
Albert. Yeah, true. Second base. Start with Nolan Gorman. I put Gorman at second base instead of DH.
Yeah.
I'm giving Nolan Gorman a C. I think he was pretty average. He did that classic rookie thing, hit a lot of highs, had a lot of lows. What do you think?
I agree. When he came up, I saw his like first 7 straight hits because I went to the game, and every time I went there, he just never got out.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, we should trade him, which like if we get someone really good, I guess so. But if he can just make more contact and watch the zone better, he has a beautiful swing and a lot of power. He needs to work on defense. Not good defensively.
Yep, for sure.
Get Jose working with him. Just feel more comfortable there at second or wherever they decide to play him. Really.
Yeah. Yep.
Who knows? But yeah, I agree with the C. Like, just I feel like C's average is solid.
What about Brennan Donovan? Because I'm going to give Brennan Donovan a B plus.
I'm giving him an A.
I'm not against that.
He played basically every single position. Ended up being a starter, either if that was at second, right field, left. I don't know if he played center, third, first. He basically played everywhere except pitcher, catcher. He may have played center. I don't think he did, but
I don't think so. But
and he hit 281 as a rookie. 394 on base was just ridiculous. Just all his at bats were, as we like to call it back in the day, quabs, a quality at bat.
Yeah.
And I loved watching him play.
I think B plus or A, whatever you want to give him. I think the fact that really nobody expected him to do what he did, it's got to be a high B at least at the lowest, and that's what I gave him. But I'm not against an A at all. At shortstop, let's start with Tommy Edman. Let's start with the brighter part of shortstop here.
Yeah.
So I'm giving Tommy Edman a B, and it's because his bat was a little inconsistent there, especially in the second half. Defense was insanely good.
Yeah.
But offensively, just a little streaky for me.
I'm going B plus, just because of that offense streaky. But he didn't win a Gold Glove this year, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
because he moved.
The crazy thing is because he switched times. He literally, I think if you look at the stats, he kind of ranked high for both positions, and he split time in both. So his defense is just crazy, and his offense wasn't. He batted 265 and 324 on base, which like I'm honestly fine with that with Tommy Edman with how good his defense
Mhm.
is.
Mhm. Yep. And now the bad part of shortstop, Paul DeYoung, and I hate to do it, but it is an F.
F minus.
So I don't like giving Fs at all. And I was trying to find anything because he was solid defensively.
Yeah.
But then the fact that I
I'll give him
remember,
a D minus for defense.
there you go. I was remembering the stat where he was on pace at the end of the season to have a top three worst average of all time, and I'm like, I can't give him anything but an F. Which I hate
Mm,
to do it. I don't know what you plan on doing with him because I think he's got like 2 years left, but you're not playing him. Nobody's gonna want him. You just
mhm.
eat the money. Time will tell, I guess. But so you giving him a D? You're going to be generous and give him a D
D
minus.
minus.
D minus. All right.
Maybe the Oakland A's would like to have him in a package for Sean Murphy and just see what
Maybe.
happens.
Maybe they have nothing to
But I
lose.
like the guy a lot, but he just
I
can't
know.
hit.
I know.
It's so frustrating. Maybe the new hitting coach will get to him.
Maybe.
Matt Holliday will
Yeah.
speak some wisdom.
Yes, sir. On the brighter side of things, I should say, Nolan Arenado at third base.
Mm,
Same exact thing as Goldie. I'm giving him an A.
I'll do A too. I wanted to give him an A plus, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll do A. Won the Gold
Well,
Glove, had arguably his best offensive season in his
why not an A
career.
plus? Is it because of the end of the season?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm.
And I didn't want to give too many A pluses.
Yeah.
He didn't win the MVP.
True. Very true.
I think
Yeah, I
was he
mean,
second or third in
third.
voting.
I think he was third. I think he was third behind Manny.
That'd have
Um,
been cool if he was second.
but yeah, I mean, it was another classic Arenado season. I feel like every season of his career has probably been an A or A minus.
Mm-hmm.
He's just been absolutely ridiculous.
So good.
In the outfield, starting in left field, Tyler O'Neill. And I hate to do this because he's probably my favorite player on the Cardinals, but I'm going to give him a D. Health, along with when he was in there, he batted like 220 something.
228.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I think I also give him a D. You could honestly, I would not, and I hate to say this, but I would not have a problem if people gave him an F because based on what we expected him to do after what he did the
Mm,
year prior, it would make sense that people would be pretty frustrated. But I'm going to stick with a D.
I go D2. Just the inconsistencies at the plate, which last year he seemed to only get RBIs from home runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't really like a big producer, but this year he had like 58 RBIs and he batted 228, which I don't want one of those players where they bat 200 and just get a bunch of RBIs. But
Mm-hmm.
his power really wasn't like he did hit 14 home runs, but still like his power didn't seem to be there. But hopefully he gets it back on track, gets healthy, stretches, stops lifting so much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
gets back to doing his thing. Because
I,
if he's humming with Goldie and Arenado, it'd have been nice to have him behind Albert, but
yep.
don't get to see that happen. But I think he'll bounce back, hopefully.
This is weird to say, but center field, Dylan Carlson, which he's our center fielder now. I keep forgetting that because I've used
Mm-hmm.
to Bader for years now. I'm going to give Dylan a C minus, and you might give him a D. I feel like a D is coming towards
I
Dylan.
was gonna say C. His
Okay,
defense in center was really, really good. And
that's
he
true.
filled in there. Really good job. And it's just his hitting. Just
Yeah. Well, I was going to say he played through that whole injury
yeah.
throughout the season, where he didn't talk about, and so that's why I
Okay,
gave him a
D
C
because of
minus.
that. Kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it might be worthy of one, but I'm gonna go C minus.
I
Just a pretty average year.
I had my expectations for him were so high, like him batting 280, hitting maybe around 20 homers and getting 70 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah, that's always the answer. Uh, a fan favorite in right field, Lars Nootbaar, and I'm gonna give Lars a C plus. If you look at his stats, he had some pop that came around. Average was definitely low, but he brought that energy, he brought
Yeah.
that life, and so that bumped him up probably from a D plus to a C plus for me.
Um, yeah, I'll go C plus. C plus to B minus. Just um his stats
Defense
are
too. I
kind
forgot.
of
Yeah,
what?
I forgot about his defense too.
Yeah,
Defense
his
was great.
defense was incredible. Rocket arm. The beginning of the year kind of um had an effect on his stats a little bit too, but he
Yeah.
picked it up. Was really crucial in us winning the division, getting to the playoffs because we O'Neal was out. I think Carlson was out too for a while.
hmm
He stepped in and played really good. Um, excited to see him play next year, and which we really have no idea what our outfield's going to look like.
Yeah. I'm hoping that young superstar Jordan Walker
Oh,
gets a chance.
he had an A+ for last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to DH, we're going to start with King Albert, the machine, Albert Pujols. So I'm going to give him an A, and the only reason I don't give him an A+ is because of the first half of the season. But if you don't give him anything but some type of A, you're out of your mind.
A+, and I have my reasons.
Mm,
So going into the year, who would you expect to be like third on our team in home runs?
Probably Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, it was Albert Pujols. Who would you
Yeah.
expect to be third on our team in RBIs?
Not Albert Pujols.
Yeah, it was Albert Pujols. Ridiculous. 345 on base, batted 270, OPS of 895, which was higher than Arenado's, and he played in 109 games. Ridiculous. He had more doubles than Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah.
Come
Wild.
on, he's slower than you.
Yeah.
But just the best, and he got 700 home runs too, which was incredible.
Absolutely amazing. That alone probably should make me give him an A+.
Yeah, just like I know the season was kind of disappointing, but when you really look back at it, it was probably one of the more fun seasons.
Unbelievable.
Have the NL MVP on your team,
Yep.
2 MVP candidates, and then Albert Pujols just become a vintage Albert for us.
hmm Yep. The thing that bothers me is that I think we had another step. If you
Mm-hmm.
had Flaherty and if you had O'Neill, the Young, like it could have been even more special. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not taking anything away from what it was.
That's baseball.
We have two other DHs here, Juan Yepes, and I'm giving him a B-, and I just changed it from a B to a B-, and I just remembered how awful his defense is, and so I moved him down to a B-. But the fact that kind of like the Donovan thing, we did not expect him to be that good, especially
Yeah,
offensively. Has to be above a C.
yeah. So I gave Lars Nootbaar a B-, and Lars Nootbaar played way better than Juan Yepes, and
Mm-hmm.
Yepes is getting a C+. Yepes batted 253 and had 296 on base. I think he started off so good. I think that's what a lot of
Yes,
people think of, and he kind
that's what I'm
of
thinking of. Yeah.
did not play good down the stretch. And his defense is horrific. So I'll give him a C+.
This next guy we didn't see much of this year, but I think we will probably see a lot of him hopefully moving forward, or maybe he'll be in Oakland and with the A's. But Alec Burleson,
Yeah, we have
and
a lot of
so
players, which is good.
I'm giving Burleson a D because
Same.
he did nothing, but it's not
Yeah.
failure worthy because he didn't have enough to be bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. He just really
Just
didn't.
another guy.
Yeah, he played 16 games, really didn't do anything to get me pumped. But
Yep. We can run through the pitching staff here pretty quickly, especially some of these
what
relievers. We
about
don't
what
have to go
about
in
Corey
depth.
Dickerson?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about Corey Dickerson. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna give Corey a C.
Mm, I'll give him a B-.
The offense came around.
He had a stretch in the offense where he really was crucial in our.
He was 10 for 10 at one
Yeah,
at one point.
his defense is not great,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say a solid signing.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back, but it was a solid signing
No,
for
we
sure.
have so much outfield depth. I don't think we want him back.
Yep. Moving on to the pitching staff, let's start with the horse, Adam Wainwright. I'm gonna give Big Wayno a B for the season.
Yeah, I'll go B too.
Just a little up and down, especially at the end there.
If it wasn't for that little injury at the end,
Mhm.
maybe an A.
Yeah. What about Jack Flaherty? I'm giving him a C.
See, like I guess he barely pitched.
Yeah.
He showed flashes.
Yep, I agree. How about Miles Michaelis? I'm giving Miles Michaelis a B plus. He was your most consistent pitcher all year.
Yeah. You know, I'll give him an A minus. Best
Okay.
pitcher. What
Yeah.
was his ERA?
Well, it all raised because he gave up like 12 runs in
Oh yeah.
Colorado. It just ruined his whole season, ERA wise. But it was a little over three or mid threes, maybe. I want to say like 340, maybe.
The whole they have all these. We had so many players pitch that it's just really messing up the whole pitching section here. Let me find it.
Guessing 342.
329.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a pretty dang good season.
Yeah, I'll do. I'll do B plus.
Okay. All right. Jordan Montgomery midseason edition. I'm giving Big Monty a minus.
I'll give him a B plus. Kind of just like Mike Lewis pitched super good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm getting them both an A minus. I changed my mind. They both pitched good in the postseason too.
All right. Yeah, I mean Monty really started off insanely hot, and then he wasn't. He had a couple rough outings at the end there, but I agree. He's an A in the A's. I have an A minus. How about Jose Quintana? I'm giving Jose Quintana an A.
A.
I would be against an A plus if somebody said that.
Yeah, I'd take him back.
He was a surprise, and yeah, he's a free agent now.
Dominated in the postseason too.
He was great.
Pitched so good.
He was great.
If you would have said Jose Quintana was going to be our starting pitcher in the postseason at the beginning of the year,
ridiculous.
I'd have been like, you mean like a loser bracket?
Yeah. What about Dakota Hudson? Because I'm going to give Huddy a C minus on the year.
Yeah, I agree.
Could even
very
be
disappointing
because
he was
even
not
sent,
good.
He was sent down at one point. Think about that.
You threw him, and the offense was salivating at watching him throw.
Yeah. Yep. All right, my guy. We're moving on to relief pitchers here. We got my guy. You know who my guy is? You're gonna roast me so hard.
Verhagen. He's not even on our team.
Drew Verhagen.
I thought we released him.
I think we did. But
okay, yeah.
Face
off the
year. F. I'll give him a D. That's my guy. What about Packy Naughton?
Like a C minus, I guess.
I gave Packy a C minus. Cody Whitley. I gave Cody a D because I thought he was going to do a little more than what he did. He got like a 5 ERA and was.
I'll give him a D because I don't think I watched a lot of games. I don't think I ever saw a game where he actually pitched.
Oh, that's why I gave him a D as well. Because like he was supposed to be a what do you call it? A steady guy in the bullpen that was supposed to be there all year, and he wasn't here all year. Jake Woodford. I'm giving Woody a B plus. I thought he was great.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Because he had like a 220 or 240.
Yeah, 223 ERA. Yeah, I'll do B plus.
That's really underrated ERA there. Steven Matz really started off poorly. Had a really good little last few games at the end. I'll give him a C minus. He was injured all year.
Yeah, I'll do C too. C minus.
Matthew Liberatore came up just for a little bit, and when he did, he got rocked around. I agree. I agree exactly. I give him a D.
Looked wimpy.
What about James Nail? He came up for a while. St. Louis guy. I'm giving him a C. He started off really well and then had a couple rocky outings.
I'm trying to I'll just give him a C. I can't even find him on the list. Oh, he had a 5 ERA.
I know. It raised. Jojo Romero. I'm giving Jojo a B minus. I thought he stepped in pretty well, had a couple outings. And also, if you look up his ERA, that's counting what he had with Philly as well.
Actually, since he only played 15. I guess he
played like
I'll do B
4 or 5 with.
What'd you do? B minus.
B minus, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Chris Stratton, I also gave a B minus. I thought he was pretty solid.
Pitched good. 2.78 ERA.
Yeah, I'll do a very B. Solid. Okay. I have another A here. Zach Thompson. I'm giving an A. And I was telling my father actually that earlier, and he was like, "What? Zach Thompson?" I said, "He had a 2.08 ERA." Kind of like Woodford, they both just pitched really consistently, and nobody talks about them.
I agree. I'll go B plus. Small sample size.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other lefty, TJ McFarland. F.
I didn't even put him on the list.
Good.
Genesis Cabrera. Now, hear me out. I feel like you're going to give him pretty low. I'm going to give Genesis a C minus, and it's because he started off so well,
Oh,
and
I
then
was gonna
just
give him like a C.
okay, yeah. So I give him a C minus because he started off really pitching well, and then kind of just fell off out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Andre Palante. I'm giving Andre an A, and even though he had ups and downs,
Oh, I agree. He started. He
mhm,
was. He pitched a lot of innings.
he was a setup guy at some point. He was a middle
Yeah.
relief. He was a start. He went 8 innings against the Nationals. 8 shutout innings. So yeah, Andre, very good piece for us this year. And who would have thought he'd be top? I think he was top 5 in Rookie of the Year, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
really?
Yeah, I think he
Oh,
was
dang.
fifth. Um, I could be off on that, but he was definitely in top 10. Jordan Hicks. We're down to our last three here. I'm giving Jordan a C minus on the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See.
if we're gonna do, who'd I compare it to? O'Neal earlier, where what we thought they were going to be. You could move him down to a D something because but the health has not been there. And then he showed really flashes of being dominant, and then he would just walk everybody. So it was
Yeah.
just yeah. So we're down to our last two here. Giovanni Gallegos, I am giving a B on the year.
Yeah.
And I thought he was really consistent all year, but
B
the reason I have
plus.
him as a B, you can B plus.
Sure, why not?
The reason I gave him a B is because that dude works so slow.
True.
I want to
He's the
see how
slowest
he
worker.
I want to see how he adjusts to the pitch clock next year and if it affects him at all. And then last but not least, my only A plus is Ryan Helsley
Hey.
because of the last game or the
Yeah, because
last.
you wouldn't tell the people he was hurt and kind of lost us the game.
Yeah,
I'm not still
yeah.
bitter.
I was looking at his stats though, man. 124 ERA or something like that. Like insane stuff.
If you're hurt,
But
tell the coach.
yep. But that was our St. Louis Cardinals player grades that we've been kind of pushing off for a long time here.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the NHL, we can continue with some St. Louis talk here. The Blues had a couple games in this last week that we've been missing. I want to point out that last one, Blues versus Panthers. It was the night of your what would you call it? Him and hers party thing.
Yeah.
It was the night of that, and right before I headed over to your aunt, right? That was your aunt's place,
Cousin.
cousin's place. Man, I get that confused every time. But it was your before we headed over to your cousin's place. I was watching a little bit of the Blues game. First 10 minutes, we were down 3-0 to the Panthers. We had just lost to the Lightning, and I was like, man. I called my dad on the way there. He said he turned it off. He was just annoyed.
AJ called his
bitter.
dad crying about the game.
No. But he was saying he was so bitter about it. So with about 9 minutes left in the first, Brendan Sod scores. It's 3-1. And the second period, Lundell scored for the Panthers. Now it's 4-1. So we're down 4-1 going into the third. O'Reilly made this weird play where I think he was trying to pass it from behind the net, and it just literally hit the back of the goalie's skates and went into the net for goal. Kind of just an unlucky bounce for them. Lucky for us. So now it's 4-2. Out of nowhere, Kyrou and Tarasenko score. It's 4-4. And then the overtime winner by Jordan Kyrou to win it. I don't know if you saw it, man. It is filthy. It was 3-on-3, so the whole ice is open.
Yeah.
Torrey Krug's like standing behind our net. He skates out in front of our net and makes a full ice pass from in front of, like by the goalie crease where Thomas Greiss was, all the way to the opposite blue line to Kyrou, right on the money, right on his stick. And Kyrou goes forehand, backhand, and roofs it. I think it was over Spencer Knight. But I want to shout out Jordan Kyrou because not only was that absolutely filthy and his celebration was phenomenal, he has an 8-game point streak right now. And he was the one guy at the beginning of the year that was really struggling and getting a lot of hate from people here in St. Louis. But he has been red hot lately. And I actually have it pulled up here. 13 points in his last 8 games, 5 goals, 8 assists. And I mentioned after his slow start, he was my first guy out of the 3 who's hot I have here. I did it wrong. I have 4 hot and 2 not. But one of my other hot players right now, Mitch Marner, 16-game point streak, 5 goals, 17 assists, and 22 points in that stretch.
All right. He plays for solid. The Maple Leafs.
Yes, sir. Yep. Toronto. Yeah. I mean, he's on the line with Austin Matthews. He's going to get a lot of points, but a 16-game point streak. And for him, he's kind of like Kyrou. He started off slow. Toronto started off slow, and there was a whole drama. I mentioned it on here earlier. I don't know if I was by myself for that episode or not. how he just walked off the ice and with like 6 minutes left in the third period, just went to the locker room, grabbed all his sticks, and left.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he was it was not a good situation to say the least. Another guy, I don't know if he's even hot right now. He's just been hot all year. Jason Robertson. He's an Asian hockey player for the Dallas Stars. You don't
Yeah, I
see
was gonna
many.
try to guess what team he was, and I had no idea. Never heard of him before.
Well, first of all, you don't see many Asian guys
Yeah.
playing hockey, and
Wait,
also
what's his name?
Jason Robertson.
Jason Robertson.
That was the other point I was going to make. You don't see many Asian guys named Jason Robertson,
Yeah.
but he has 18 goals, which is the most in hockey this year, and 17 assists, 35 points. So I mean, he has more goals than Austin Matthews, McDavid,
Is he a
Draisaitl.
rookie?
Now he's a third year guy,
Mm.
but he's got extreme potential. And then my last who's hot is actually the entire Seattle Kraken. They're 13-5-3 this year, a complete surprise to everybody. And they've been led by Andre Burakovsky, 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points. Where's in the point of the season? Is it like, are they just not like, is this actually them? Because 13-5-3,
Yeah.
we're almost a fourth of the way through. It's like, I'm starting to feel like this might actually be a decent
Yeah,
team.
they may actually be
So,
good.
yeah. I do have two players that are, or one player and one team that is not hot right now. And looking through all the players in the league that I was doing earlier, I came across Drake Batherson for the Ottawa Senators. 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points on the year, which you would think that's not too bad. But he has a negative 15 on the ice.
Mm.
So, I mean, when you're on a bad team like Ottawa, which is actually extremely underperforming this year,
Yeah.
when you're on a bad team like that, you're going to have pretty much everybody with negatives. But the fact that he was the worst negative by far stood out to me. I had to mention how bad Drake Batherson's been on the ice. And then my bad team was the Philadelphia Flyers. They started off really hot, and they've lost their last 10 games. Because if you look at the record, they're 7-10-5, and you would think that's pretty bad. But losing 10 straight games is a testament to how bad they have been.
Good. I don't like Philadelphia.
I know exactly. I was happy when I saw that. But that was all of my NHL talk that I brought in. NBA wise, so we said we were going to.
Oh wait, I have some more on NHL.
Do you now?
No, I don't.
You got me excited. So NHL or NBA wise, I should say. We're going to do that King of the Court now. Where can you still see me by the way?
Yeah.
All right, right on. Because I'm gonna pull up. This episode's going to be Trae Young. That we're going to be comparing it. And should I just pull up point guards?
Yeah.
You think we should do it that way? Because I'm going to pick out 5 point guards, and we're going to do Would You Rather King of the Court edition here, with Trae Young being
on HC Sports Talk.
Yes, the main staple.
On this Monday, November 28th.
There you go. So let's start. Trae Young or Damian Lillard?
Damian Lillard.
I'm also taking Damian Lillard. And I think a lot of people would actually have a problem with that. I think a lot of people would say Trae Young.
Respectfully, I think your guys are wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Dame on that one. Let me find 4 more here. I'm looking through all the point guards. I want to find a controversial one. What about, I have one that I'm going to save for last because it's one that everybody talks about.
Steph Curry.
I see him on here, but that's a no-brainer.
Steph Curry's obviously better.
Yeah. What about Trae Young or Kyrie Irving?
Ooh. Like if Kyrie plays, it's Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'd take Trae Young because Kyrie never plays.
I would take Trae Young slightly.
But if it's based just on how they play, Kyrie does some crazy stuff.
He does. I do like Trae Young's playmaking a lot. I like that ability.
Yeah. Oh, true.
He's always high up there in assists.
I don't like Trae's shot taking sometimes.
Yeah, he likes to heave that thing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I know this guy's older, and this could be. You could probably make
Chris
fun
Paul.
of me for this. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm going to take Trae Young, but I brought up Chris Paul because a lot of people probably think. I mean, a lot of people probably think, "Oh, Trae Young easily over Chris Paul." Why are you asking that? But Chris Paul, even though he hasn't won a championship, has had that impact on the Suns, where they have now become a contender. Yeah. Where Trae Young hasn't gotten anywhere besides that 1 year, which is right now looking like a fluke.
I think I would choose Trae Young, but I'd rather play with Chris Paul that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
Like, I think Trae Young's better right now, but I'd rather play on Chris Paul's team because he shoots at a higher percentage.
Mhm.
Um, I still think he's a better passer than Trae Young. I know the assist may not show it, but I still think so.
Yeah,
I don't know. A good
definitely
leader,
just
plays
smarter and
defense.
yeah. Like Trae Young's not a I mean, even though he's a good playmaker, a lot of his assists come off lobs to John Collins. It's not
Yeah.
like him breaking down the offense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you
Chris
mean.
Paul's like savvy and makes the right
Hmm.
play. Um, I do have two more for you though, and I'm really excited for these two. This is the two I've been waiting like
I'm
all week
picking
to.
Luca over him.
I'm not gonna do Luca, even though that's a really good one. That's actually a really good one. So I'm gonna do
Really
a
good
guy that's
one. If anyone picks Trae Young over Luca,
yeah. Now it's easy because Luca's been insane. But I'm gonna save the best for last. But my second one here, Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
ooh, ooh,
Ooh, it's
mm,
tough. It's tough because Shea's been so good. He's averaging over 30 this year,
personally,
making the Thunder competitive.
probably a little biased, but I would probably take Shea just
Mhm.
because he can score. I don't know what his assist numbers are like. I know they're probably not as high.
Not as high, but I think it's 5 or 6 if I remember correctly.
And I just think he's like 6'5", 6'4" too.
Yeah, 6'5", I believe.
Does he play good defense?
It's solid. He's long, athletic.
That's if you play defense with Trae Young on 2K, not fun. I know that's a very bad
Mismatch,
explanation,
mismatch waiting to happen. So
but
I'm
I'd
actually
honestly
gonna
take Shea.
I'm
Just the
gonna agree.
athleticism and scoring and height and
Hmm.
ability.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go Shea as well,
I
and I
think a
think a
lot of
lot
people would
of
take Trae Young.
I agree. I think when I post this, we're gonna get some backlash for that,
A
but I'm gonna
lot
go
of
Shea
Trae
as well.
Young.
Uh, this one's gonna get very
Ben
interesting.
Simmons.
Oh, he actually has been honestly playing better though. I don't know if you saw his last 3 games. He's actually played well.
I looked at his
Um,
stats yesterday when I was getting on a plane and he had like 2 points.
yeah. Well, I think he's had like so I played somebody in fantasy this week. This should show you, and he had the most points out of both teams in fantasy.
Oh wow.
So he's I mean he does everything, assists, rebounds, points. He's going to be a good fantasy guy. That's why I drafted Draymond Green, by the way, because I knew Draymond, even though he doesn't score, he gets
Yeah.
rebounds, he gets assists. He's going to give you a good
I
fantasy
do have
guy.
to say this, AJ. How do you feel having a worse record than I do? And I have not set my lineup since the first week.
What's your Are you 3-2?
I think I'm 3-3 now. I lost this week.
Okay, I'm 3. I'm 3-3 also now.
Yeah.
Um,
When do I play
that's
you? Because I will actually try.
yeah.
If I
We
play
gotta
you.
go. We gotta go at it. So back to the king of the court. Would you
Yeah,
rather here?
sorry.
My number one, and this one, you have to pick the right one, Zach, or we're gonna have some problems here. Trae Young or John Morant.
It's John Morant.
Okay, thank you. Good.
It's
Ooh,
not even close.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. So many people say Trae Young, man. So many people,
No.
and I think Trae, even though he puts up big stats,
He's fun to watch, but I don't it's kind of like I had him low in my point guard or high. Like the Hawks haven't really won. They made it to the Western Conference Finals and they didn't even make the playoffs last year, right?
mm-hmm. Nope. Yeah. So for me, like Trae, um, puts up really big numbers. And the argument people say is like Jaws, the Grizzlies have been really good without Ja, that whole thing.
They
But
also
for
are good
me,
with him.
I know that exactly. And like when it comes playoff time, you want that closer, and that's
Mhm.
Ja on your team. Even though Desmond Bane's been insane, but um, I'm glad you said Ja Morant. I'm glad
Oh,
you
I'm
said. I
not
want to see what
dumb.
people say about that because
I'm also not like a huge I like Trae Young, but I think he was kind of fun to watch in college because he just shoot crazy, like he'd score a bunch of
mm-hmm,
points, but
mm-hmm,
his shot selection just I'm just like, stop,
yeah,
please.
yeah. Also, I mean, Ja, in my opinion, I mentioned this in the another, I guess our last episode maybe. If I'm showing somebody basketball for the first time, I'm showing them John Morant. He brings so
Mhm.
much flash and like athleticism, and but at the same time, if you watch him, he does these crazy athletic plays, and some people would think maybe there's going to be a point where that he can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But for me, he is so savvy still. Like he has that
Mhm.
veteran presence already. He's like 22, 23.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, I know Tatum's been unbelievable once again. Luka's been the best player in basketball this year so far. I think Ja has the ability to be the best player in basketball.
True.
Uh,
The thing about Luca,
if
though,
he
I was
stays
just kind of
healthy.
thinking about this, is Luca's not super athletic. He's going to be good forever.
I know. I know. Unless he has some kind of injury happen, yeah.
I
He's
know, but
gonna
I'm telling you,
be
people who are not just like Rip don't get injured.
Dirk was here forever and just doing 1 foot fadeaways all day.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
goat.
But
Don't say Dirk's name in vain.
Dirk's your guy. Dirk's always been your guy. But moving on to college football, Zach, I know you had a rough week out there, but there
Pass.
was
AJ, you said this is my time to take over, so
I'll hand it off to you. All you.
let's start off with the Pac-12. Did Washington win?
They did. They did.
Too bad they aren't in the Pac-12 championship.
So we were talking about
Okay.
we were talking about that at your party the other night.
Yeah.
And that night when I got home, I turned on the Washington game, and it literally just popped up the stat that I've totally forgot about Utah, completely forgot about Utah. So we had no chance of getting in either way. So, but
wait, how? Why not?
USC obviously, and then it was between Oregon and Utah. We were the next one back because we didn't play Utah, we didn't play USC. So kind of a bummer, but yeah.
All right, we'll just kind of go through like throughout the day. So Georgia beat Georgia Tech. At one point at halftime, it was 10-3, but Georgia, as the good teams do, they get a hold of the game and just kind of blow out the team after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big one, as they call it, Michigan, Ohio State. Going into it, I thought Ohio State was going to destroy them.
I agree.
Michigan got it done. Kudos to them. 45-23. And the one guy on Michigan who I did not think is good, their quarterback, made some big throws.
What's that running
shots.
back that went nuts?
Yeah, Edwards.
It was their backup running back, wasn't it?
Yeah, he does get a lot of carries because all they do is his season so far he has 92 rushes for 687 yards, which 200 of those 600 yards were in that game.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he went off.
But I think going into this game, I think a lot of people were kind of skeptical on both teams. Kind of their strength of schedule wasn't great. The Big Ten hasn't been great. But I think really it shows how important defense and running the football is. And a lot of people don't just air it out. Because CJ Stroud had a great game. He had 349 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have interceptions at the end, but that was kind of during garbage time, them just throwing it all over the place. And Michigan kind of shut them down. They gave up a lot of yards, but they shut them down, which I guess they held them whenever they were in the red zone. I didn't watch the game. I was in pain watching another game, but Michigan looked really dominant. I'm kind of swayed a little bit on them, but I still think Georgia will beat them. And Georgia, I think, to me, could win it all. But hey, there's going to be a lot of new teams in the college football playoff this year, which is exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, no ranked games. Yeah, South Carolina beat us. That was sad.
That's wild.
But
I always like the big deep breath.
it's really we've done this every single year. We start out good, or we have good stretches and bad stretches. We started out good, leading at halftime. We turned over Rattler, who I hate his guts, and I hope he does not do good in the NFL. Sorry, just him with his rattlesnake necklace. I just don't like it. But we just did what we did all year. Our receivers couldn't get a lot of separation, get open, or they drop a ball, or if they were open, DJ would throw it 5 yards over their head or underthrow them, or just DJ can. I really like DJ. I think he's a nice guy, but he cannot throw a spiral. Like if you watch a game and you're like, let's watch and see how good this quarterback does a spiral. Like he does not look like he's a good quarterback, but he can't. It doesn't have that college football quarterback spiral that.
Yeah.
people throw, but we just shot ourselves in the foot. We just turned it over. DJ threw interceptions, had fumbles, fumbled on the punt return at the end of the game, which we could have got a shot to kick a field goal and win. But South Carolina beat us. We deserved to lose. We did not play like we should win. But with that said, we are 10-2. People think we're really bad, and we can win the ACC championship, be 11-2, win a New Year's Six bowl, be 12-2, and it's a down year for us. So I'll take it. If a down year is 12-2, and in a New Year's Six bowl with a quarterback not playing great at all,
Yep.
hey,
So
it could be worse.
what if you had Trevor Lawrence right now?
Oh, we'd probably be undefeated for sure.
Okay, that's what I thought you'd say. Yeah,
He's so good. Yep. It's just, I realized last year in the Georgia game, after watching how bad we played on offense against Georgia, I looked to my roommates and I was like, wow, we were very blessed with Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But I will say we did not give it to Shipley enough. He had only 15 carries and had 132 yards rushing. I would say just give him like 30 more carries and just not pass it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be because DJ threw it 29 times and was 8 for 29. I'm not like great at mental math, but I know that's below 50, below 40, probably below 30. That being said, South Carolina, we still own the state, buddy. You got lucky. Alabama destroyed Auburn, and if something really weird happens this next week, Alabama could slip in.
That's ridiculous.
It's just crazy. All right, I'm just going down the game. This Oregon State game, I remember looking at my phone and seeing Oregon up by quite a bit. And then I remember looking at the final and Oregon State ended up winning.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oregon's kind of hit a landslide, kind of them in Tennessee just kind of limped to the finish line and had some big losses at the end, but that was surprising to me. But a lot of people at Oregon, I think on game day, some people picked Oregon State because if you ask Oregon like who the rival is, they don't say Oregon State, they say Washington because they hate your guts. Especially you.
Yes, me.
Long time.
Yeah, die hard.
Yeah. But if you go to Oregon State and ask who their rival is, they're like Oregon. They despise Oregon. So that was a surprise to me. Purdue beat Indiana, and Purdue is the Big Ten West champion.
It's crazy.
They'll be playing Michigan in the title game, which I'm telling you, watch out for that game. Purdue has a history of they play a top 10 ranked team, they become Alabama.
If they beat Michigan, is there a chance they don't make the college football playoff? Or since beating Ohio State, do you think they're locked?
Personally, if Purdue embarrasses them, I don't think they should be in because Purdue's 8-4. And if me being completely biased, if Clemson would lose to literally anyone, we'd not have a chance. But I'm not biased at all. But I really do believe Purdue could make it interesting because they just sling it. TCU, a lot of people were thinking this could have been a tough game for them. Iowa State's supposedly had a really good defense. Well, they didn't this game because they lost 62-14, and TCU's looking strong. And I would like TCU when I was a kid, and I am jumping on the TCU bandwagon. I had a special at one point, so I walked around the campus. It's private.
I'm cheering for him. I'm cheering for him.
Frogs. I like Duggan.
Yeah,
and their whole team's pretty fun. What else?
Texas A&M.
Oh yeah. I'm about to get there.
That's a big boy. That's a big boy.
Utah destroyed Colorado. Surprise. Yeah, Texas A&M beat LSU. I told you LSU was not that good, but SEC bias as always. Yeah, Texas A&M somehow. I guess that's one bright spot for the Texas A&M season. They beat number 5 LSU. Just destroyed them. I swear I look at the Texas A&M's box score and there's a different quarterback every single game that plays. But you just give it to the running back who we ranked high in our rankings. A chain, and he had 38 carries. Clemson, take notes.
Shipley.
Give it to Shipley and Moffa.
Yeah.
But yeah, LSU frauds from I want to play LSU. I don't think we'd beat her. I want LSU in a New Year's Six bowl, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
USC took care of Notre Dame pretty
Mm-hmm.
handedly.
They did.
38-27. They could honestly. I don't like USC, but they could if they win, they're in the playoff.
I think they get killed in the by Georgia if they're in though.
Yeah,
I
I
think they
think
get
just
killed.
I think they'll lose, but just Williams is so talented. I think that
Explosive. Yeah.
yeah, if Jordan Addison's playing, you just need those two guys to just
Mm-hmm.
score every single play.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee beat Vanderbilt 56-0. A lot of people were thinking maybe an upset. K-State beat Kansas. They're in the Big 12 championship game, a rematch against TCU. Washington beat Washington State. How just give us a little story about how bitter that rivalry is between you guys and
I
Washington
mean,
State.
I hate Washington State. No, I did watch the game though, and just so explode. I mean, I didn't put it together. They're the number one offense. Washington's the number one offense in college football. Penix is just
It's Michael Penix is the number one offense in college football.
Well, I mean, Romeo Odunze is explosive, and like
That's
Jalen
a very
Polk's
cool
explosive.
name.
It's an amazing name. But I have an even better name for you. Wayne Talapapa is the best running back in college football. But no, they
You
played
think he's the
really well.
best in college football?
I'm just pulling your chain, man.
He's the best name.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, I hate Washington State.
Yeah, same. God, they just those Cougars. But there was games on Thursday and Friday. There's a lot of games on Friday. Texas beat Baylor. Texas has kind of had an up and down season, but beating Baylor, scoring a lot of points is promising. And Bijan Robinson's a beast. Tulane beating Cincinnati. So Tulane's probably going to get a New Year's Six bowl. I don't want to play Tulane because I don't want to play a non-power 5 team and lose because I could totally see us doing that.
Yep.
Mizzou beat Arkansas, is bowl eligible. And I don't know if you knew this, but there's also another team that's bowl eligible that is 6-6, and that is the Kansas Jayhawks. If you do not make a Mizzou Kansas bowl game happen, you are missing out on making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And if you have it, don't schedule it. Put it in New Mexico or California. Idaho Potato Bowl, I will accept because the field's cool, but you play that thing, you just make up a bowl and play it, throw back into an Arrowhead and just have Mizzou just destroy the Jayhawks.
That's actually a really good thought. I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
I mean,
they start playing again in 2024, I believe.
KU really fell apart. I mean, they're in a really tough conference, but still, I mean, they start off. It's true, very true.
That Mizzou KU basketball game, it's in the end of December, I believe.
Yeah, and Mizzou's basketball's been playing well. They got 2 votes to be ranked.
They haven't played a lot of. I don't think they played really a lot of big schools yet, but they've been scoring a lot of points, which you want to take care of those little schools
for sure.
One team that really has fallen off the cliff, North Carolina. Drake May will not be winning the Heisman, I don't think, anymore. He couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah,
they fell to NC State.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of sucked for me, but Florida State beat Florida 45-38. Florida State's looking really good, and we beat them at Florida State, so put us in the playoff. Ole Miss lost again. Sorry, Jonathan.
All right, Jonathan. Yeah.
I think you lost like 2 or 3 in a row. 3 in a row. Yeah. It's a bad way. And Lane Kiffin's staying. So that's all the games. I wanted to mention some coaching things.
Yeah.
Matt Rule signed an 8-year deal at Wisconsin to be their head coach. I think that's a good deal. He's an awful NFL coach, but he's been successful in college. Luke Fickell to Wisconsin, which is huge for Wisconsin. Also, I remember hearing Luke Fickell say he was not going to leave Cincinnati. Well, that was a lie. That I don't like when people like make the promise and then end up leaving. But and then Hugh Freeze is just signed today to be Auburn's new head coach.
I saw that as well. Yep.
So next week we'll talk about all those games, the championship games next week,
Yes, sir.
and which should be good.
Yes, sir. Let's finish with some NFL. Kind of run through the game, starting on Thursday with the Thanksgiving games. The Lions almost beat the Bills. Very close.
I know.
28
Josh Allen is
25
the
Bills.
Bills are just I don't know, they're just weird.
You want to know a fun fact? You might already know this, but Jamal Williams leads the entire NFL in touchdowns.
And he made
Pretty
a lot. I
impressive.
didn't know he let him.
Pretty impressive.
Did
So
you
the Bills
know
won
the
that
Bills are
one.
the first team in quite a while that have won back-to-back games at Ford Field in Detroit?
Oh, yikes. Yikes. What do you got to say about your 28-20 win over the Giants, Zach?
Oh, we took care of us. We looked rough. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Good. I got you.
But Dak was incredible. He picked it up in the second half, and then Zeke and Pollard. Zeke really played really good. We just ran it down their throats, and just the Giants are frauds. Like they scored a late touchdown, but we played really good. Our defense is really good. I was talking to my dad. I'm like, isn't it nice to have actually a good defense for once?
Definitely, man.
Micah Parsons is incredible. He can win Defensive Player of the Year. Heck, even MVP, but only quarterbacks win that.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there. But did you see the celebration that we had?
Yeah.
So they have the Salvation Army, because the Cowboys are the best, the nicest, best franchise ever. We partner with Salvation Army to raise money. But in 2016, Zeke scored a touchdown and jumped in the Salvation bucket. And then another year, Zeke, like when Dak scored, Zeke like picked him up and put him in the bucket. And then this year, one of our tight ends, I think it was Ferguson, scored. But there's two other tight ends on the field, Schultz and Hendershot. Or maybe there's three other guys. Yeah, there's three guys in the bucket. Maybe we had four tight ends on the field. I don't know. But three of them jumped in the bucket and pretended to be like, what's it called? Oh,
Whack-a-mole.
yeah, whack-a-mole. They're like popping up and down and hit them. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. But now your Cowboys are 8-3 now.
It was good.
Just slightly behind the Eagles. Giants are now 7-4.
I legit think we can make some noise if Dak just plays good. It's really just if Dak plays good, we're good.
Yeah. That Thursday night, Thanksgiving night game was pretty good, actually. Patriots, Vikings. Vikings won 33-26. But for me, like the Patriots, even though this doesn't really count in this aspect or this game, I guess, their defense is so good. They're going to keep them in games anyway. But no, they
Mac Jones played good. Surprising.
Yeah.
If you're a Vikings fan, you have to be very excited because Kirk Cousins won a game when the sun was not out. It was in prime time.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the Patriots are 6-5 now. The Vikings are 9-2. Moving on to Sunday, the Browns beat the Buccaneers in overtime, and Buccaneers cornerback, I keep forgetting his name, fell down on like the last play or whatever,
really?
And just completely blew coverage. And Amari Cooper got it all the way down to like the 4, and the Browns kick a field goal and win it. I don't think the Browns make the playoffs, but
if they didn't lose to the Jets, they could easily make the playoffs. But if Deshaun Watson plays like he was, they're going to be good.
Yeah. I don't think he's like this year. I don't think he's going to make a huge difference over Jacoby at QB. Like I think Jacoby's been solid.
Yeah, I think he's been good too. He just kind of makes. They could easily be 500 right now because he made some very bad decisions in the end of games.
Yep, I agree. On the Buccaneers standpoint, going to 5-6 now. Kind of a tough spot. Luckily, they're in a bad division that they can kind of get away with that.
Falcons.
Yes, sir.
Or anyone in that division, really.
Yeah, man. I mean, Saints are right there still, and so are the Panthers somehow. The Bengals went on the road and beat the Titans 20-16. Jamar Chase not in this one again, but should be back next week. He was very close to playing this week, they said. I actually picked the Titans in this one. I thought the Titans were going to get it done. But the Bengals are doing that thing, man, like they did last year where they're starting to get hot, and I don't like it. So somebody's got to slow them down.
It's really like hard for me because I love T. Higgins and he played really good, but I don't like Joe Burrow.
Yep. This next one we really don't have to cover much on. Dolphins beat the Texans 30-15. I think it was 30-0.
Demolished. It was 30-0 at half.
Yeah. So I mean, and then they took out Tua. That's what it was. They took out
Mhm.
Tua in the second half. So Dolphins, man, I think they're Super Bowl contenders, honestly.
There's a lot of good teams, really.
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah.
Texans are without a doubt, the worst team in the NFL.
Oh, by
Not even
far.
close. Not even close. The Jets with what is it, Mike White?
In the rain. Let me just set the stage. Zach Wilson, a little wind, had like 77 yards. Mike White, and when it's pouring down rain, had 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's the starter for the rest of the year, in my opinion.
He dominated, man. He dominated. And no Justin Fields for the Bears. We don't have to go over this, guys. We talked about this in the video that I posted for us, and also the episode we talked about it. Justin Fields has to throw more.
Has to
Dak and I don't.
win games.
Yep. And I mean,
Which
we also
perfect
mentioned.
transition. A guy who's going to be the guy had a big drive to win the game, and his
Okay.
name is Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
He played so good, brought them down eight, or no, down seven. Comes down, throws a touchdown on with like 14 seconds left. I think it's a 2-point conversion, 1-1. They almost, and then they did a squib kick at the end, and
Mhm.
Justin Tucker had a shot at a 69-yard field goal, and it was dead
Yes, man.
straight, but he didn't get
Dude.
enough leg on it.
Yeah, that was wild. That was very close. But you could see the emotion from Trevor Lawrence
Mm-hmm.
just from all those one possession game losses that he's had. I think he was very relieved to get this one done.
He
Um,
was 29 for 37, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. They had to throw a lot more because ETN got hurt, which was sad. But he hasn't turned the ball over a lot recently. And I'm gonna look at his actual stats, but I saw something that he has 6 games with over 100 passer rating, and it's more than I had to find it, but it was more than like a lot of good quarterbacks.
yeah. Um, I also want to say on the Ravens side of things, even though I really like them, I really like Lamar Jackson. I think Mark Andrews has the case to be the top tight end in football, even though Travis Kelsey's making really everybody look bad at that position right now. But I think the Ravens are in a little bit of panic mode. Little bit. They don't have a lot of weapons offensively. The running backs are good, but none
Yeah,
of them like stand out. They all kind of share carries. Gus
yeah.
Edwards, J.K. Dobbins when he's in there.
It's
Who's
still
the other guy they
kind
throw in there? I mean, they
of
just
guys. You say Gus Edwards?
yeah. There's a third guy they always throw in there too. I can't remember his name. But offensively, like Duvernay and Bateman or whatever, like it's just
Bateman's
not
hurt. He's out for the
okay.
year, I
Yeah.
believe.
Oh, is
It
he out for the
still
year?
boils down to they have no receivers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I know Lamar Jackson's amazing, and if he wasn't on their team, they would not be this good. But he still sometimes misses some throws.
Yep. He definitely does. Um,
But that's
Falcons.
sad about Trevor. I found the tweet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He has more games with 100 plus passer rating. He has 6 games with that than Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady. I think I could have more than Russell Wilson, so we can just take his name
I was gonna
off.
say yeah, yeah,
But that's pretty impressive. And he's had games where he's had high completion percentage too, which I feel like that's a good thing to look for in a quarterback,
yeah,
obviously.
definitely.
So that's exciting for the
Um,
Jags, and he had a big comeback win. So hopefully this was like kind of his coming out party.
yeah, a little
You
step
say.
forward. Yep. The Falcons Commanders was actually really exciting. Came down to the end where the Falcons, Mariota, I think on like the 8 yard line or something like that, tried to throw a little, I guess, screen pass almost to Cordero. Cordero got tipped,
Mhm.
and then Cordell tried to knock it down, but they picked it off in the end zone. That would have won the game for the Falcons. The Commanders, man, Commanders are playing good football.
Yeah, I don't know how they win. Heineke is not like they just somehow
He just keeps them in it.
survive. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's he wins, they just kind of survive
Yep. That's a
and
good way
get
of
the
saying
job
it.
done.
That's a good way of saying it. The Panthers beat the Broncos, and the Broncos have now reached an all-time low for the season at 3-8. Dude. Like, in shock at how bad they've become.
It's crazy because their defense is so good, but their
I
offense
know.
is so bad.
I know. There was also a clip of that the big guy Purcell, I think his name
Yeah,
Parcell
yelling at Russell
Purcell.
Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I feel bad for Russ, bro. Like
Sam Darnold,
he was
he's bad.
decent. He
Yeah.
was decent.
You
was
see his
decent.
touchdown where he fumbled it, then got it, then rolled in the end zone.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
Yep.
funny. And of
The
course, DJ Moore.
Chargers.
Whenever DJ Moore is playing with Sam Darnold, he's amazing.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But I wouldn't have Trevor Lawrence on my fantasy team if I didn't trade him for DJ Moore. Just saying. And he
Yes,
started for
sir.
me.
The Chargers pulled off some guts there at the end of the one against the Cardinals. They're going for two to win it.
Oh, really?
Very gutsy play call. The Chargers. I was going to mention to you how disappointing is that entire AFC West besides the Chiefs. I mean, the Chargers
Very.
6-5, and the Chargers have had injuries. Let's say
Mhm.
the Chargers lose, and they almost did against the Cardinals. We're sitting at a 5-6. Raiders are 3-8, or whatever, 3-7, through whatever it is.
Mhm.
Then the Broncos are 3-8. It's like it's a really big disappointment for that
I
AFC
agree.
West. We thought they were going to be dominant. The Chiefs beat the Rams 26-10. Rams, man, new all-time low for them. They're 3-8 now, and no Matthew Stafford. They had Perkins
No
in at
cup.
QB, no Cup. Then they released Daryl Henderson. I think I saw that as well.
Yeah, the Jags picked him up as a backup, which is
So I
smart.
mean that's crazy. The 49ers offense struggled, but their defense was great against the Saints, winning 13-0. McCaffrey didn't have a great day, but it just scares me, man. It scares me if their
Mhm.
defense plays like
They're
this, and
good.
then they have Debo and McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk.
I told
It's
you
like, and
before. I'm like, if Jimmy plays, they're good.
yeah, and Elijah Mitchell. I mean, I'm one of those guys that I
It's
keep
funny that
wanting.
one of their losses was against the Bears week 1 in that
Yeah, yeah,
rainstorm.
yeah, yeah. That awful game, yeah. Um, but with the Niners, like I keep wanting to say, Jimmy G can't be a Super Bowl quarterback, but I keep having to remind myself he got there already.
Mhm.
And also, if he
And they would have
just
won
takes,
if they didn't
yeah,
start throwing.
yeah, if he takes care of the football, this team is very, very, very
And they
good.
keep calling running plays.
Yeah, I don't want to even talk about
You
this
got to
next
start
one.
Jameis Winston.
I agree. I agree. I've been on the Jameis Winston train
Just
with you.
let him sling it. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
this next one hurts me, man. This next one hurts.
The Raiders.
The Raiders and Josh Jacobs exploded on that run, and I turned it off mid-run when he broke that linebacker phase, the second
Have you
phase or
seen the
whatever.
run yet?
No, I haven't. I
How
turned
far
it
can
off.
you go?
I'm
Whenever the
never
Cubs
watching
won
it.
the World Series, it was probably like 6 months before I saw the actual play, the actual him catching the ball at
Uh
first.
huh. No, I still haven't seen it. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna watch it. Our run defense, though, man, absolutely awful. Raiders win 40-34 with my Seahawks. Absolutely awful run defense, and I don't want to be that guy, but I'm getting a bad feeling that the Seahawks,
And we're running out
um,
of your mojo.
yeah, running out a little steam here, running out of magic because they were pretty special there, and Gino was solid, but that defense has got to play better. And then the last game, before Monday night tonight, which has not happened yet, Colts Steelers. Sunday night, Packers
That
Eagles.
sounds
Eagles
this is gonna be
win.
such a boring game.
I know. Eagles beat the Packers 40-33. I'm surprised Packers kept it close, but
Yeah,
what a weird year. Packers are 4-8. I don't know the last time I've seen something like that for them in our lifetime. Is it even like I don't because they had Favre and they've had
yeah,
um
probably not.
Rodgers. That's pretty insane. But
But
Jalen Hurts ran for like 160 yards.
yeah, of course, Miles
Um,
Sanders, after doing nothing the past few weeks, goes off.
I know.
Had him on my bench, but I still got the dub. But Aaron Rodgers came out of that game because he thought his lung was punctured because he was having trouble breathing. But it wasn't that. But Love came in and played decent,
Mm-hmm.
not bad. But
Yep. Yeah, man, it's a weird
Eagles
season. It's a very weird season. But
fraudulent.
going on to week 13, we'll have everything that covers that. I'm going live. I took that week off from going live and everything, and I'm fired up, man. I'm ready to be back. We
He's
got like
back.
another
It's the season where you start getting the playoff thing, and it's in the hunt.
in the hunt. Yes, sir. Yep.
At
So
this point now, every team in the NFC East is in the playoffs. If you'd have told
that's
me that in the
crazy.
beginning of the year, I'd be like,
It's wild.
no way.
It's wild. But no, I mean, you and I both took last week off, but I'm back to posting our player of the nights on Instagram, and then also I'm going live on TikTok every day. Um, we got 60 new followers today, and I'm thinking like we're at 5,200 something. Got to get to 7K. by New Year's.
7K.
7K. That's my goal for us. But thank you guys for listening. Again, that Carolina interview was absolutely phenomenal. And we will be back this weekend. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.